Hello everyone. Today's class we are going to see about process synchronization. In the previous class we completed about multiple process scheduling and thread scheduling. So today we are going to take concept called process synchronization. What you mean by process synchronization? Since processes frequently needs to communicate with other process, therefore there is a need for well-structured communication without using interrupt among processes. Here we have two types of process. One is cooperative process, another one is independent process. Cooperative process means if you are considering two process, there is a common thing is there between that two process, or we can tell it as in we have some same code between that two process. P0 and P1 are the two process means if that two process is cooperative means P0 will share something with P1, P1 will share something with P0. That is a concept of cooperative. Independent process means consider P0 and P1. P0 is separate, P1 is separate. P0 will not share anything with P1, P1 will not share anything with P0. So both are completely different process. That is called independent process. Here process synchronization concept will come for cooperative process, because we have two process means there is a communication or synchronization is required. Communication is there means synchronization is required. P0 will share something with P1, then there is a synchronization required. P1 will share something with P0, there is also synchronization is required. That concept we are going to see in this class. There is a frequently need communicate with other process, therefore there is a need for a well structured communication. Second point is a situation where several processes access and manipulate the same data concurrently, and the outcome of the execution depends on the particular order in which the access takes place is called race condition. Consider two processes P0 and P1. If P0 and P1 run in the same path, they both process want to access one resource. P0 also want to access one resource, P1 also want to access same resource. At that time there is a race condition is arise. Race around condition cause fine errors in application and are difficult to debug. If that competition between two process for one resource, then there may be a chance of errors. To guard against the race around condition, ensure only one process at a time can be manipulating the variable of data. So if both process are both process want to access one resource, at that time race around condition will occur. In order to avoid that, in order to solve that, we can allow any one process to get that resource. At that time we can reduce this race condition, but we can't completely reduce, but we can maximum we can reduce that condition, race around condition. Concept is we can allow only one process at a time. If you going for access only one resource. Any one process we can allow to access that resource. Another process should wait. Once that first process access is completed, work is completed, then second process can access that resource. This condition is called process synchronization. Here we have another concept called critical section problem. Consider a system consisting of n processes. Each process has a segment of code called critical section. Consider we have two processes P0 and P1. P0 process having two sections. P0 process, that means process means that is in code. That P0 code or P0 process contain two sections. One is critical section, one is non-critical section. Critical section contain shareable elements. Non-critical section contains non-shareable elements. Again, P1 also contain critical section and non-critical section. If there is any communication between P0 and P1 is there, at that time what are the communication elements, what are the shareable resources, that all datas are there in that critical section. Non-critical means there is no completely independent part is there. If P0 don't have any communication with P1, that non-shareable elements are there in non-critical part. Critical, I will read that first point. Critical, consider a system consisting of n process. If there is any n process, each process has a segment of code called critical section. Each and every process having one small section, that is called critical section. Let us go for second point. Critical section means process may be changing common variable, updating a table, updating a memory location, writing a file, and so on. If there is any common thing between that n number of process, that common thing is there in that critical section. When one process is executing in its critical section, no other process is allowed to execute in its critical section. Here one common thing is, if there are n number of process, all n number of process contain critical sections, each one. P0, if you having 10 process, P0 to P9, each P0, P1, P2 till P9, each process having that critical section in that process. But out of that 10 process, any one of the process can enter into critical section. Other 9 process should wait to enter critical section. All 10 process can't enter into that critical section. Any one of the process can enter. Remaining all process should wait. That concept is here. Each process must request permission from the operating system to enter its critical section. Every process having critical section, but in order to enter that critical section, operating system should give permission. Then out of n number of process, any one process can enter critical section. Other process should wait. The section of code implementing this request is the entry section. The critical section may followed by exit section. You can see this diagram. Here we have critical section. Each process having critical section. But condition is given, out of n number of process, any one process can enter into critical section, remaining should wait outside. That time, here we have to add one thing, that is entry section. After critical section we have to add another part, that is exit section. Any process coming here at that time, entry section, inside entry section we have set of code. That process should enter inside this, execute this entry section code, then only that process can go for critical section. Once that critical section part is completed, that process come out of this critical section by using exit section. Here also we have set of code, that code is executed means then only that process can come outside. So like we have one room, in order to enter that room we have one door, in order to come out of that room we have another door. Any one person can enter that room at a time. That is the concept of critical section. Here problem is how we are going to enter inside this and how we can come out of this. Entry section and exit section implementation part is here, we have to see that. A solution to critical section problem must satisfy the following three requirements. So how we can enter, any one person can enter or any one process. I will go for that previous slide. Here in the critical section any one process can enter inside critical section. How that process enter, any one process enter in critical section, that is problem. If 10 processes are there here, 10 process all are waiting for critical section, but at a time any one out of 10 can enter inside critical section. How that is possible? How that out of 10 one process is considered? That is the challenge. That solution we can see, if that solution completed means, that means the solution to the critical section problem must satisfy the following three requirements. First one, mutual exclusion. Second one, progress. Third one, bounded waiting. Very important question. Many times they ask in the question papers this critical section problem requirements. These three are the requirement. What do you mean by mutual exclusion? If process Pi is executing in its critical section, then no other process can executing in their critical section. There is a mutual understanding, that is called mutual exclusion. Mutual understanding between two processes. When one process entered inside critical section, another process should wait to come out of that critical section. Once that another process come out of that, then second process can enter inside critical section. Here we can take one example, Pi and Pj. Pi is executing in its critical section, at that time Pj should wait. Pi and Pj both are fighting for the critical section, then only that condition, which condition, previous slide we seen, race condition will occur. If this mutual exclusion concept we are applying means, then there is no race condition or there is no critical section problem. And second thing, progress. If no process is executing in its critical section and some process wish to enter their critical section, then only those processes that are not executing in their remainder section can participate in deciding which will enter its critical section next, and this selection cannot be postponed indefinitely. Progress means, in generally there are two processes, P0 and P1. P0 want to enter inside critical section, P1 also want to enter its critical section, but there is a one condition, out of P0 and P1 any one of the process can enter its critical section, not both. So how it is possible? P naught is entering inside critical section means P1 should wait. If P1 also not ready to wait, P1 also want to go for that critical section, then there is a competition. There is no progress. Both are waiting for critical section. Both are fighting together, P0 and P1. No one will enter inside critical section. Then there is no progress. Progress will happen only when P0 enter inside critical section, P1 should wait, or P1 is entered inside critical section, P0 should wait. There is a understanding required. Next, bounded waiting. Third condition is bounded waiting. There exists a bound or limit on the number of times that other process are allowed to enter their critical section after a process has made a request to enter its critical section and before that request is granted. Bounded waiting means if you considered P0 and P1, in the previous case I considered same example, P0 and P1 are the two process we have. P0 is entered inside critical section once. At that time P1 is waiting. Again after some time, again P0 again entered in critical section second time, P1 again waiting. After some time P0 entered inside critical section third time, fourth time, it will continue. It will go inside. I will in generally we can consider one example. Consider one room is there. That room, two person want to enter that room. P1 is a one person, P0 is another person. P0 will enter inside that room once and come out of that, but P1 is waiting there. After some time, when P1 want to enter, again P0 is entering inside room, again come out of that, but P1 can't go inside. This will repeat many number of time. This will repeat. Only P0 will enter inside the room, but P1 always waiting outside itself. P1 also waiting, P1 also want to go inside that, but P1 can't. Only P0 entering there. That is called again problem. In order to avoid that, bounded waiting concept we have to apply. What do you mean by bounded waiting? Only some limit, there is a limit. P0 can enter the room only 4 times, or P0 can enter the room only 8 times. Like that we have to, or CPU will give some limit. Only at that limit that process can enter inside critical section, because chance is giving to everyone. All process should enter critical section. There is a no partiality. So there P0 entering into critical section, P1 waiting. After some time P0 limit is over means then chance is given to P1. If P1 limit is over, chance is given to P2. But there is a certain limit. There exists a bound or limit on the number of time that other process are allowed to enter their critical section after a process has made request to enter critical section and before request is granted. So there is a limit to enter into inside critical section. If there is no limit, only one process can enter critical section, other process always waiting. This should not happen. If these three condition is completed, then your critical section problem is solved. We have another two methods. One is software solution for critical section problem. Another one, hardware solution for critical section problem. What is software solution and what is hardware solution? Here Peterson solution is the software based solution. Another, in the next slide we have hardware based solution. We have both methods, software solution and hardware solution, that both solution only for critical section problem. A classic software based solution to the critical section problem known as Peterson solution. Peterson solution, it is a name of the scientist. He developed one solution, software based solution for the critical section problem. It addresses the requirement of mutual exclusion, progress and bounded weighting. In order to solve critical section problem, in the previous slide I told we have to complete these three things. That means necessary conditions are mutual exclusion, progress and bounded weighting. If the 3 points are met, then only this critical section problem solved. Second point, it is two process solution. Peterson solution is two process. That means we have only two process. For in order to solve this, we have only two process. We can't take more than two process. If there is any two process, then only we can apply Peterson solution. Otherwise we can't. If there is any 10 process, we can't apply this method. Third point, software based solution such as Peterson are not guaranteed to work on modern computer architecture. Modern days this technique is fail, but in the previous days, in the history, we have this Peterson solution to solve critical section problem. What is the solution? In the Peterson solution, we have two data. One is turn. Just remember, one is turn. Another one is flag. These two are the data. One is turn, another one is flag. Here both are shared. That concept, here we have what is Peterson solution. So this concept is the answer. This code is the answer. The solution is this one. How it is explained? So Peterson solution means we have two data, one turn, one flag. Now I will go for this flag. If that flag, here they give considered actually two process. One is PI, another one is PG. Because they in the previous slide they given it is a two process solution. One is PI, another one is PG. Flag I is equal to true. Here both PI and PJ having critical section. Both PI and PJ want to enter critical section. Now we have to go for solution. That solution is software based solution is Peterson solution. Here flag I is equal to true. Meaning of this is PI want to enter critical section now. PI want to, that means PI is interested to enter inside critical section. Now turn is equal to J. That means whose turn it is. Turn means whose turn it is. J. That means PJ can enter. PJ can enter inside critical section. But here PI want to enter critical section. Turn is to PJ, but interest is by PI. PI interested, but turn is given to PG. Here we have one condition, while loop, flag J and turn J. By using these two conditions, just you have to compare. Turn J, we have turn J, yes, it is true. But flag J, is that flag J? No, right? Flag I is equal to true. Here we have flag J. Meaning of this is here false. This one is false. Here turn J, here turn J. So this one is true. False and true. False means you can consider 0. True means 1. 0 and with 1. Answer is 0. So entire this thing is false. So Pj can't enter inside critical section. Here flag J meaning of this is, flag J means Pj interested to enter critical section. Turn J means turn is given to Pj can enter critical section. It is interested means flag, turn is given to Pj now. If that both sentences are true, then Pj can enter critical section. If any one of the thing is false, then Pi will enter critical section. This is very important thing. If any one of the thing out of these two is true or both are true, that means you are going to AND, right? True AND with the true, answer is true. Any false AND with the true, answer is false itself. So both are true, then only Pj can enter critical section. If any one of the thing is false, then Pi will enter critical section. Once that Pi is, now consider Pi is there, because here we have false, here true. False and true, answer is false. So Pj can't enter critical section. Pi will enter critical section. So here this part in box, whatever we have, that is entry section code. In the previous slide we seen entry section, critical section, exit section. Entry section code is this one. This code is developed by Peterson. Then once that Pi is entered critical section, after executing critical section, it should come out of that critical section by using exit section code. Here flag I is equal to false. Flag I means, here flag I means true is there. Meaning of this is Pi want to enter inside critical section. It is interested. Pi is interested to enter critical section. Here false means Pi is not interested to enter critical section again. So flag I is equal to false. It is not interested because already it is critical section execution by the Pi is completed. It is not interested now. At that time another process can enter inside. Till that only one Pi is there in critical section. Once that Pi come out of this, that means once that Pi is completed that exit section, then this section can use it by another process. Till that only one process is there in critical section. This is called Peterson solution. By using Peterson solution, we met these three conditions. That is, mutual exclusion also success, progress also success, bounded waiting also success. Anyway, we have to these three are the requirements for the critical section problem. If you want to solve critical section problem, these three conditions should met. So here by using Peterson solution, these three conditions are success. So Peterson solution is a good solution. Another thing is hardware based solution. In the previous slide we seen software based solution. Here we are going to see hardware based solution, that is synchronization hardware. Simple hardware instruction can be used effectively in solving the critical section problem. These solutions are based on the locking, that is protecting critical region through the use of lock. We know each process having critical section. Any one of the process can enter inside critical section at a time. We can go for that thing by using hardware solution also. How we can go for that solution? By using a lock. So before enter inside that critical section, put lock. Once you came out of that critical section, remove lock. That is a very simple concept we can use. This is the hardware solution we have for critical section problem. When you are going to enter one room, you are going to lock that room. Once your work is completed in that room, again you are coming out of that room. At that time you are opening that lock and you are coming outside. At that time any other person can go inside. Again that person can lock, use that room, while coming open that lock and come out of that. This is the method. One of the example is washroom. Washroom, when you are entering inside washroom, you are putting lock and using that washroom, and when you come out of that, opening that lock and come out of that, another person can enter inside that room. So lock is a one of the method. Any one person can enter that critical section, one process. Lock is equal to 0. Meaning of this is no process in the critical section. Lock is 0 means no process in the critical section. No persons are there in that room. So anyone can enter inside that. Lock is equal to 1 means process is there in critical section. One process is there in critical section when lock is equal to 1. At that time other process should wait outside. This is the one of the solution, that is a locking. Another thing is test and set. This is another hardware solution. A process P1 would test the condition code using test and set instruction before entering a critical section. We are using one of the instruction, that is test and set, before entering inside critical section. If no other process was in this critical section, then process P1 would be allowed to proceed and the condition code would be changed from 0 to 1. When process P1 exit the critical section, the condition code is reset to 0, so another process can enter into critical section. You can easily understand by using these two sentences. I think no need to explain again these two very easy sentences they given here. The hardware based solutions to the critical section problem are complicated as well as generally inaccessible to application parameters. So operating systems designer build a software tool to solve the critical section problem, and this synchronization tool is called Semaphoros. Hardware. In the previous slides we seen two methods. One is a lock method, one is a test and set method. These methods, there is some complications. Hardware method we have some complication, so that's why they developed another method. Designer developed another method, that is called Semaphoros. Semaphore is a very good method to solve critical section, and that is a software solution. What do you mean by semaphore? Semaphore S, that is represented by S, capital letter S, is an integer variable. That S is an integer variable. To standard operation modify, we have two operations for the S. Again, S is the integer variable. We can perform two operations on S. One is wait, one is signal. We can perform that two operation on that particular S. The wait is represented by P. Signal is represented by V. We can also represent wait by P and signal by V. Can only be accessed via two individual operations. Here that semaphore means we are using S is a integer, wait and signal are the two things, two operations we can perform on S. That example for this I will explain in the next slide. Here Last point is must guarantee that no two process can execute wait and signal on the same semaphore at the same time. Here I will explain in detail. Semaphoros means semaphore classified into two types. One is counting semaphore, one is binary semaphore. First we will go for what you mean by semaphore. Here we have yes. This concept is called the first diagram we have for counting semaphore. Second diagram is there for binary semaphore. That binary semaphore another name is called mutex lock. First I will go for counting semaphore. Let us consider this complete building is one hair cutting salon. Hair cutting salon is this one. Now here we have only one door for that hair cutting salon. To enter inside that we have to enter through this door only. There is exit also this door, entering also this door. The door name is yes. Inside that hair cutting salon we have 4 chairs. That means at a time 4 person can go for that. Here if there is more than 4 persons they have to wait, right? For that we have another room, that is waiting room. Here this is the waiting room. Now consider one person coming here. First we have to set the value of yes. If yes value is from minus infinity to plus infinity, that is called counting semaphore. If yes value is 0 or 1, then that is called binary semaphore. Now consider this door. Door name is yes. First yes, here we have yes, that value is 4. Why it is 4? Because here we have 4 chairs, 4 person can enter at a time. After that we have to block this door. So one person entered here. Now here 4 becomes 3 because only 3 chairs are there. So one person, first person entering here, and here he is sitting here. At that time here yes 4 becomes yes is equal to 3. Now second person is entering inside this room by opening this. At that time here yes becomes 2 and he will sit here. Third person will enter through this door because yes is 2 now. Now once that person is entered, yes becomes 1, he is sitting here. And fourth person is entering. At that time yes is 1, so he entering. So once he entered, yes becomes 0, that person came here. Now another person coming here, another person also coming here. He can't go inside, he will go here, but he can't go from there is no other doors, he can't go here. That's why he should enter in this door itself, but he should go to waiting room. When s is equal to 0, that meaning is that all 4 chairs are busy. So that another person came here. At that time s becomes minus 1. S becomes minus 1. He can't go there. Once it is 0, this chair is full. So if negative value means he will go to waiting room. Minus 2 means 2 persons are there in waiting room. Minus 3 means 3 persons are there in waiting room. Okay. So like this is the counting semaphores. Binary semaphore means this is the diagram. Here value is yes. Only one chair is there. One person can enter inside this. Initially s is equal to 1. One person can enter inside this, s becomes 0. Once that work is completed here, he will come out of this room by making s is equal to 1. Once he came out means then automatically S becomes 1. That means no one is there inside. Once second person coming here, here 1 is there, so he will enter and he will sit here. At that same time third person will come, but S is 0. That means someone is there inside the room. So he will wait. He will wait in the waiting room. So this concept is called binary. Here 0 or 1, 0 and 1, only 0 or 1 number. Here more than 1, that means minus infinity to plus infinity. Any number we can go for yes. Here 4 chairs are there, that's why we have 4. You can go for till plus infinity and minus infinity. This concept is called semaphores. Again I will go for that previous slide. Semaphore is a integer variable. S is a integer variable. Semaphore is represented by S. S is a integer variable. Two standard operations, wait and signal, we are going to perform on S. Wait means we are making that S is 0. Wait means we are making that S value is 0. Signal means we are making that S value is 1. Originally P and V, these are the two methods to represent wait and signal. Here we have one disadvantage, that is called busy waiting. In the previous slide itself you can see that here many persons are waiting for this chair, right? Many persons are waiting for this chair. If more than 1, more than 2, more than 3 persons are waiting, then there is a chance of problem. That is that problem is called busy waiting. The disadvantage of this semaphore is busy waiting. While a process is in critical section, any other process that tries to enter its critical section must loop continuously in the entry code. In the previous slide, here I can explain in the binary semaphores, I will explain that concept. If one person can sit here means other person should wait. They are seeing is that chair is free or not continuously. So this will make busy waiting. Always they are busy and they are waiting for this chair. This may lead to some of the problems. That is, busy waiting wastes CPU cycles that some other process might be able to use productively. There is a chance of wasting CPU cycle if that all process are waiting for or busy and waiting for that chair, then there is a chance of wasting of CPU cycle, that is energy. In order to you know that if they are waiting, they are losing their energy. Always they are seeing this chair, is that free or not. In order to solve that, we have one method, that is, whoever entered inside this waiting room, they are going to sleep. They are going to sleep there. Once that chair is free, then this system will wake up this process, because when the chair is busy, they are enter inside waiting room. They are not waiting. No, they are not busy with waiting. They are going to sleep. Once they sleep, after this chair is free, then only they should wake up. The system will wake up these processes. That concept we are going to apply here. This type of semaphores is called spin lock. That means if you are going for this concept, busy waiting is the problem. In order to avoid busy waiting problem, we are going for another solution, that is called wake up and sleep. Sleep is another name, block. The block operation suspend the process that involve it. The wake up operation resume the execution of the blocked process. In order to avoid that problem, continuously waiting for that chair, they are going to sleep in that waiting room. Once that chair is free, system will wake up that process, then any another process can enter inside that room. This is the solution for this. Now, some of the classical problems related to synchronization is there. What are the problems we have? Classical problems used to test newly proposed synchronization scheme. Some of three types of problems are there. One is bounded buffer problem. Second one is reader writer problem. Third one is dining philosopher problem. These are the three very important classical problems. You will see that one by one. Bounded buffer problem. Name is this one. Another name for this is producer consumer problem. In exam, you may get either bounded buffer problem or another name is producer consumer problem. I will explain that problem by using this diagram. Here we have producer. Here we have consumer. Here we have buffer. This is buffer. How many rooms are there in that buffer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rooms are there in that buffer, or 6 slots are there in that buffer. Now consider I will go for this producer. Producer will produce some item and he will put that produced item in that buffer. Consumer will consume that item from the buffer. He will consume same items. Producer will produce that item and he will put in the buffer. So this concept is called producer consumer. Here what is the problem we are getting? Producer will produce some of the items and he will put inside this. Once that is full, consumer can consume that. Here problem is, first I will go for case 1. In the case 1, if that entire buffer, all slots are empty, then consumer can't consume anything because nothing is there in that buffer. Consumer wants that, but nothing is there in buffer. So producer should produce that item and he should put inside this buffer or slots. So at a time we can go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 slots are there. 6 items we can going to put here. We are going to put 6 items here. Producer will put that 6 items here. Consumer will consumes that item one by one. Problem is, if that is empty, consumer can't consume that. That is a first problem. If that is full, if all slots are full, consumer also not consuming, producer are waiting for producing. That means consumer not interested to consume that items, but producer ready to produce, but this buffer is full. He whatever produced, he don't have any place in this buffer to fill. That is second case. Here synchronization is required. Process synchronization is required. How it is possible synchronization? Here thing is, when producer will produce and he will put that produced item inside buffer, at that time consumer can't consume anything. So here we have to put one block. When producer after producing item, he will put that item in buffer. At that time consumer can't consume anything when he entered inside buffer. For that we have to go for mutex lock, that is semaphore concept. Another thing, when consumer using that items inside buffer, when consumer using that items or consumer taking that item, producer can't put that item at that time. We can't use producer and consumer at a time. When producer using this buffer, consumer can't. When consumer using this buffer, producer can't. This is the method we are using in producer consumer problem or bounded buffer problem. Problem is, again I will repeat, producer can't add anything inside buffer when consumer consumes that, and consumer can't consume anything when producer putting that. Both are not working at a time. Any one of the thing work at a time. That thing we can solve by using this process synchronization method. Second is, in this same process producer consumer problem or bounded buffer problem, we have method to solve that: code for producer and code for consumer. Here we have code given. We can go for this code. We can apply this code in the entry section and exit section. By that we are going to solve that problem arised here. Producer and consumer can't work at a time. That problem we can solve by using this method. Second type of problem is reader-writer problem. Here we have data set. One side we have reader, one side we have writer. What is the problem arised here? They consider you have one Google sheet, one sheet is there. A reader, again in Google sheet some data are there. Okay, a reader will read that data. At the same time, a writer will edit that data. That will lead to some problem, right? There is no proper data. If writer also editing that, reader also reading that, means there is no proper manner. That is not proper manner. So here a reader, here RR, first one is RR, that means a reader. That entire data set or sheet, one or more than one readers can read that, but writer, at that time we have to block writer. More than one reader can read that data at a time. That is the first one, RR, more than one reader can read that data from the data set. Second one, RW, one reader is reading that data. At the same time, W means one writer is writing or editing that data. This should not happen. This should not happen. RW should not happen. Reader and writer should not work at a time. Third point, WR, writer. Writer will write something, reader will read something at that same time. That second point and third point is same. That should not happen. When reader reading, writer should not modify that. Last point, WW, that is writer. More than one writer. The meaning of WW means more than one writer can't write anything, because that is not possible. Only one data set is there, one sheet is there. At that time one writer writing means another writer editing that, means that may lead to some consequences. So in order to avoid that, more than one writer can't go for this sheet. Only one writer can write or edit at a time. We have to make that some of the points. One is RR, more than one reader can read that. These 2 points should not happen, and last point should not happen, that is more than one writer also can't edit that sheet. Only one writer should edit that sheet. This is the concept of reader-writer problem. We have to solve these 4 consequences by using process synchronization. Here we have some of the sentence. A data set is shared among the number of concurrent process. Here these two are process, reader writer are the two process. Data set is shared. Reader only read the data set. Reader can only read the data set. They do not perform any updates. Only can read. Writer can both read and write. Writer option is there, that is he can read and he can write anything here in the data set. Then what is the problem? Allow multiple readers to read at a same time. That is possible. RR is possible. More than one reader can read that data. That is not problem because the reader can't alter anything. So reader can read that data. So that is allowed. Second point, only one single writer can access the shared data at the same time. That is the last point. WW is not possible. More than one writer can't write anything. Only one writer can write here. If more than one writer written anything here, that will lead some consequences. Okay. So we have to go for these four conditions. Out of these four, first one is allowed and then three not allowed. So in order to solve this, we have one set of code, that is the structure of writer process, structure of reader process. By using this set of code, we can avoid problem arise here. These four conditions we can solve by using this type of code. In the writer side we have to use this, and the reader side we have to use this. Third type of classical problem is dining philosopher problem. What is dining philosopher? Here we have one round dining table. We have 5 chairs here. In the 5 chairs, 5 philosophers are sitting here. All 5 philosopher, what is the job of the philosopher? Just thinking and eating. There is no communication between two philosophers. Just they thinking and then eating from their plate. We have each table we have one plate. Okay. In the middle we have again some large plate. There we have rice. That each 5-person job is to think and eat from that main rice bowl. Okay, here we have that plate. From this that philosopher can take that rice and can eat. Problem here is about fork or spoon. For this philosopher we have this plate. Food is here and these two are spoon. Thing is, he should take, that particular philosopher should take both spoons to eat anything. Another philosopher also should take both spoons to eat anything. So each one should take both spoons. By using one spoon or one fork, he can't eat. That is the condition given here. Philosophers spend their life alternating thinking and eating. That is the concept, thinking and eating. Don't interact with neighbors. That is condition. Occasionally try to pick up 2 chopsticks. That means a spoon they told here, like a chopstick. And eat from a bowl. Bowl is here. Middle we have bowl. So one philosopher can take both. No, one philosopher should take both spoons, and he can take that food from here. Using one spoon he can't take that. Thing is, need both to eat, then release both when done. Both spoon he should take, then once that eating is over, both spoons he should release. That is the condition. But thing is, if one person, that is one philosopher, taken these 2 spoons, another philosopher can't take this one. He can take only this one, because in this side he already took. Only one is free, so he can't eat. So So he also can't eat because this person taken this spoon means this person can't take this, only one spoon is there. That is the problem, only 5 spoons are there. So at a time we have to take, that philosopher should take both spoons and he should eat. That is not possible. So that lead to one big problem, that is a deadlock. If all 5 philosophers taken that 5 spoons, then no one can eat. To eat, that philosopher need both spoon, but both spoons are not there. If that philosopher want to eat means 10 spoons are required. All 5 philosophers want to eat means 10 spoons are required. That is not here, only 5 spoons are there. That lead to deadlock. No one can eat. If each person taken that spoon means no one can eat. That is a problem. How to solve that problem? That solve problem by using process synchronization. So one of the solution is allow a philosopher to pick up the fork, that is spoon, only if both are available. If both spoons are available, then only that philosopher can take that and can eat. Till that he should wait. That is the concept we have to use. Another is use an asymmetric solution. That is, an odd number philosopher picks up first the left spoon and then the right spoon. Even numbered philosopher picks up the first and first the right spoon and then left spoon. So this is another method. That method is called asymmetric. One person odd and even, we have to divide this 5 persons as odd number and even number person. Odd number person, first he should take left spoon, then should take right. But even number person should take right first, then left. By that also we can go for solution for this problem. So these two solutions are mentioned in this slide. So another major problem, incorrect use of semaphore. Semaphore error is there. Where is that? Here we have one diagram. You know that in the previous slides we seen what is the semaphore. First we have wait always in the entry section, that is a wait. Next we have to use signal, that is a condition. First always wait is there, next always signal is there. That is the concept of semaphore. But if you have both wait, in the here also wait, that is the entry section also wait, exit section also wait, then that may lead to some problem. Another condition, here I told in the first always entry section we should have wait, but here we have signal. In the exit section we should have signal, but here we have wait. Here also again problem is there. That is called incorrect use of semaphores. Again I will repeat, always first it should wait, that means in the entry section wait, exit section we need signal. But here also that is not there, here also that is not there. That may lead to deadlock. In order to solve this, we have a new concept called monitors. By using monitor concept we can solve these problems, because there we have particular procedures to solve this problem. So in this class we studied about classical problems of process synchronization, critical section problem, Peterson solution, and about process synchronization definition. So thank you.